Let me show you today how I use this stethoscope. These are really inexpensive. I'll leave a link down below if you need one of these. To diagnose this 2011 E350 behind me, it's got a crazy engine noise up front, and my buddy just bought this van. It came from the auction, and he's not sure. He's read some stuff online, and he thinks it might be the sweet 5.4 liter cam phaser issue. But we'll diagnose it and find out exactly what's going on. Why don't we fire it up and take a look under the hood? All right, stand back, fire in the hole. All right, so that's a cold start, and the noise isn't too evident right now, but let me take you in a little closer. When that idle comes down, it might start making some crazy noise. If this was the cam phasers, I hope you guys can hear me all right. But if this was the cam phasers, it'd be a lot crazier sounding than that. But right down there is our belt. So I've got a light on it down there. There you go. Idle just came down. You hear it? So hopefully that's picking up. And I can tell you right now, I was looking at that belt earlier, and that belt is really old. It's very worn. In fact, we got a couple of samples right here. Why don't we take a peek? I don't know why I save these things, but I do. But the grooves in the belt, now I don't see any cracking, but the grooves in that belt are pretty deep, and that means that thing's worn. But what I did was with the stethoscope while it's running, and I can't do that right now with only one hand, but right there on that pulley, let's zoom in on it. So right on that center bolt, by the way, that had all kinds of corrosion. I take the tip of my stethoscope here. Let me back you out. Sorry for any shakiness. So I take the tip of the stethoscope and the edge of it, and let's say that's the bolt right there. I just put it right on the end and listen. And man, that bearing is making one heck of a noise. So it's that one, and then there's the tensioner down below. It's doing the same thing. It's really noisy. So what we need to do is, these vans are a pain in the butt to work on. I'm going to take the air filter housing off right here, this tube. I just played the video back, and I'm sorry if that noise it is horrendous, if you couldn't hear what I was saying, but I started to say I was going to take off this air filter housing. So that's where we're going to start. These just pop right out here. So I get a stool. It helps you get some leverage on this sucker, unless you're 7 foot tall. Anyway, with that box or air cleaner out of the way, the housing, that gives us a lot better access down here below to our belt. And I already have a tension removal tool here, belt removal tool I should say, attached to the tensioner right down there. It just goes in, it's a 1/2 inch, just like a regular square drive. And then you pull this way towards the driver's side, and that'll release the tension. We'll pop the belt off. And I'm fortunate here, they've got a diagram. This is ours right here for the 4.6, 5.4, and 6.8 gas engines. So with air conditioning is what we have. So we're using this one right there. And I'll take the belt off. That's the easy part. Then it's time to unbolt, the idler and the tensioner. The tensioner's held on with 3 bolts. I don't think I'll be able to film much of this, if anything, but the bolts for the tensioner are right on here, that housing. I'll show it to you when it comes out, and we're gonna change this sucker out too. This idler is completely, it's not just that it's pitted up on the surface, the bearing is toast. So I'm pretty sure when we get this out and spin it by hand, it's not gonna sound healthy. I got the tension off and slipped the belt off over top of the alternator. Then I went down below off camera and unhooked the belt from the AC compressor, which is on the passenger side. That's pretty easy access. And then you should be able to pull your belt out from the top, and that's without removing the cooling fan. So here it comes now. It's pretty long. Here it is here. That's a longie. And get you a close up here. Like I say, it doesn't have, as far as cracking, it's not bad, but the belts or the grooves are very deep, and it's kind of dry feeling. When these get kind of dry, it's almost, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but they're usually time to go. Alrighty, so with the belt and all that out of our way, I also pulled this wiring harness. Was in a clip right over here. I just kind of moved it temporarily so we can get to the 310 bolts, or 310 millimeter bolts on the tensioner right here, and that all come out as one piece. And then this pulley here, this idler, which doesn't sound too bad spinning it by hand, but I can see all the corrosion on it. Hopefully you can too. That's a 13 millimeter, so we'll just back that out, remove it, remove that, and we'll swap her on out for some new stuff. Oh man, I'm proud of myself. After about 15 minutes, I got the angle I wanted to show you guys, me removing this. Not like you don't know how to remove a bolt, right? But I'll get my arm out of there. Oops, there goes that light. Bingo. Well, might as well start that shit over. Okay, so if you drop it, pick it up and start over. Here we go. Let me get, that wasn't too bad. So I do have an electric ratchet over here, but this is just this one bolt. Shouldn't be a big deal. Taking this out, hopefully she'll pop off okay. Be mindful when you take these out, sometimes they'll have washers. I know on the Toyota sometimes they put the washers on the back. This one has one on the front. Let's see, let's wiggle it. Oh, she doesn't want to come off. Nice. We may have to give this one a little tap action. Oh boy. Yep, let me get a hammer. So let's give it a little tap. Sometimes a little vibration does wonders. I'm not beating on it, just giving a little vibration back and forth. There we go, let's try that. There it comes. It's wiggling now. Come on. All right, it's gonna need some more love. Probably a little corrosion, no big deal. No biggie. Two hands, sorry, I know. My hand's in the way again. Cardinal sin, I'm gonna put a little pry bar action behind here, not hard. Last thing we wanna do is break the timing cover. That's for sure. So I'm just wiggling it. It'll go, here it comes, okay. There it goes, there it is. Oh boy, so that's that one. And you can see, hopefully you can see, there's definitely corrosion on this aluminum, where the aluminum meets the steel. We'll get a wire brush, I'll clean that up. It's time for that tensioner, and here's our 310 millimeter bolts. So let's break these loose. Not too bad. No crazy ugga-duggas there. Fortunately, they're backing out for us. Fairly easy. Now, before I remove this, I want to show you guys something. So those of you that have not done this job before, you can see that the tensioner pulley, wow, that one sounds bad. The tensioner pulley here is right near this timing cover. There's no gap. So when you start your belt to put your new one on, you're gonna have to fold it and squeeze it right here between the pulley and the housing and go around the AC compressor and then do all your looping. So that's where you need to start. God, all right, let's get this out. Take these out real fast. And hopefully this tensioner will come out pretty decent for us. There's this. They're about 1.25 inches. I've got a little magnetic tray off to the side, which you guys can't see. Okay, I got one bolt left right there. Here comes our tensioner. Bring this bad boy out. Okay, let's check it out up here. The idler, when I spin it, it's not making any abnormal sounds as far as like spinning, but what you can't feel, which I am, is as I spin it, it's kind of grabbing. It's it's catching. That's the only way I can describe it. So it's time for this to go, and this surface of this thing is really rough. And then on our tensioner pulley, listen to this guy. That's really bad. Plus it's just freewheeling. So this is completely shot. I believe you can just get the pulleys if you want, and you don't have to replace the entire tensioner, but since this thing has about 135,000 miles on it, just gonna do it all in one shot. Let me grab the parts right here. Here's our replacement parts. So I got this, I guess it's Litton's, is our tensioner, made in Canada for all our Canadian friends over there. So thanks for this awesome tensioner. If I can get it open, let's check it out here. Okay. There we go. Just got to go to the part that opens. So here's our new tensioner. And see how smooth that is, and it doesn't continue to keep spinning. I like to always match up my parts when I get them. And this one looks, oops, sorry, didn't mean to kick the tripod. This one looks dead on, so that's good. We should be okay there. And let's get our idler pulley. And what I like to do, I always check not just the inner diameter of the bearing that's going to fit, but the width, and then of course the outside diameter of the pulley. And this one is spot on. What's this here? We got a Daco no slack, and here's the part number 89006. This one is made in the USA. I don't see any USA on the bearing now, but it says the box says maybe the box is made in the USA. And I forgot to give you the part for this Litton's here for the tensioner. It's 89263. I'll leave all that in the description down below. And then of course we've got our belt right here. I'm going with this Daco 6PK 2540. And what I do with this is, as you might have seen in some of my other videos, I've got a few Serpentine belt replacement videos. Pop it out and then stretch it out. Yep, that's what she said. So anyhow, what I do is I'll take it, I don't know if I can get it on camera here, and then I just put my thumbs in there and stretch this out to see if they're even, you know, or should be pretty close in length. And this one looks spot on. We got the right one. So anyway, let me show you up close. I'm not sure if it'll show up on camera, but what I was talking about, the grooves here. See how deep these are? Because it's worn down, and how shallow these are. Hopefully that's picking up. So, and not in my nostrils. There we go. Put my head down. Anyway, there we go. So that's what I'm talking about. This thing's worn out anyway. Time to go. All right, I'm gonna bolt this stuff back in. I'm going to struggle, fight, and curse putting the belt back in, because it's going to be a tough one holding the tension and all that, reaching down there. But I'll get it, and then once everything's put back together, I will fire it up and we'll hear it and listen to it. Should be a lot quieter. Just remember that trick I told you. Make sure you fold the belt like this in between that tensioner, right? Remember I showed you? Slip that in and then put this around the AC compressor, and then go ahead and loop everything else around. Okay, enough talking, let's get working. So there's our shiny new parts down there. The idler, tensioner, and the belt. I'm gonna go inside the van now, fire it up, and we'll get to hear it. Hopefully it sounds a little bit quieter. So let me aim you over here. Turn the key. If we hear anything weird, we'll shut it down right away, but we shouldn't. Much smoother. That's a whole lot quieter, and when it comes off idle, it should be nice. So I'm not sure if the mic picked it up earlier. Probably did. It was pretty bad. So nice and quiet. I know my man Big Ben will be happy. His band is sounding great, and it's not the cam phasers. So you can see there, this came off idle. That sounds a lot more normal now. All All right, well, I hope that gave you some insight on diagnosing the noise on the front of, an engine when the belt's running there. You can get different kind of noises. Sometimes you get a chirp. There's different ways to check that out. I do have some other videos on that, and I will leave those links to those videos in the description down below. I know one was on a Ford F-150 where there was a constant chirp, and that was due to the harmonic balancer that was wobbling. It went bad. So there's all kinds of different scenarios. You could have a bad bearing in a water pump, could be the alternator. So make sure you do your diagnostics and you'll be okay. So thanks for stopping by here on YouTube. If you could subscribe to my channel, if you haven't already, that would be great. Click the big old red subscribe button and that bell to get notifications. On Instagram, if you've got that, I'm Ozzstar with the number 1 after it. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.